Before you take another breath, before you scroll to the next distraction, ask yourself this: who are you really fighting every day? It's not your boss. It's not your family. It's not the world that doubts you. It's you. There is a war raging inside you between the person you are and the person you could be. And every thought you think, every choice you make, every word you speak, is either a weapon for the higher self or a shield for the weaker one. Most people never win this war because they never realize they're in one. They drift, they complain, they compromise, they surrender their potential to comfort. But not you, not if you're still listening, because the fact that you're here means something inside you refuses to die quietly. There's a voice, faint but relentless, whispering, "You were made for more." The greatest battle ever fought wasn't on a field. It was in the mind of every man who ever dared to dream. Thomas Edison fought it through thousands of failures in the dark. Henry Ford fought it when the world called him foolish for believing in his vision. Abraham Lincoln fought it through loss, humiliation, and loneliness that would have broken most men. And Napoleon Hill, he didn't just study that war, he lived it. He saw how success wasn't about luck or talent. It was about the mastery of self. He wrote, "You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul," because he understood, the soul that wins is the one that refuses to retreat. Every great man or woman you admire, the reason they stand above the rest is because they defeated themselves, their excuses, their fear, their laziness, their doubt. They went to war with the weaker voice and won. Think about your own life. How many times have you promised yourself, "This time will be different"? How many dreams have you buried under hesitation, waiting for the right moment, the perfect timing, the next Monday that never comes? That's not procrastination. That's surrender. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you strengthen the soldier of mediocrity inside you. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you hand your power to the part of you that fears greatness. But every single time, you take one step forward when it hurts, you take back territory from the weaker self. That is the daily war, not the kind fought with guns and blood, but with decisions, with thoughts, with habits. And victory belongs to the one who keeps showing up, even when no one's watching. Napoleon Hill called it the persistence of desire. He said, patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. And he was right, because persistence isn't about never failing. It's about never staying down. You will fall. You will be rejected. You will question your purpose. But those moments, they are not defeats. They are invitations to rise higher. When the weaker self says, "Stop, it's not worth it," the higher self whispers, "Push again." When fear screams, "You'll fail," faith replies, "I've already won." That's the voice you must feed. That's the soldier you must train, the one inside that believes before the world does. Because success, my friend, isn't about conquering the world. It's about conquering yourself. There's a version of you, stronger, calmer, wealthier, more disciplined, waiting on the other side of your excuses. He doesn't check his phone first thing in the morning. He doesn't break promises to himself. He doesn't run from discomfort. He seeks it, because he knows discomfort is the only path to dominance. The man you could be is already watching you. He's waiting for the day you stop defending your limitations and start defending your potential. He's waiting for the day you say, "No more half effort, no more doubt, no more waiting for permission." That's the day the war turns. That's the day the old you begins to die, and the real you begins to live. Every morning when you wake up, the battle resets, and you have two choices: to repeat yesterday or to rewrite tomorrow. You don't need to conquer a mountain today. You just need to take one step toward the man you're meant to become. One honest step, one act of discipline, one moment of courage. Do that enough times, and soon the weaker self will have no ground left to stand on. He will fade, starved by your new habits, your new focus, your new fire. And the man who remains will be unrecognizable. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Remember this truth. You were not created to live in conflict forever. You were created to win the war within. And the moment you stop negotiating with your potential, the moment you stop explaining your mediocrity and start acting like the person you could be, that's when the battle ends. That's when peace begins. Because the greatest victory isn't conquering the world. It's conquering yourself. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet after the battle. That strange stillness that comes when you finally stop running from yourself. This is where transformation begins, not in the noise, not in the rush, but in the silence where you finally face your own reflection without excuse. The war between who you are and who you could be doesn't end in one victory. It's a lifelong campaign. Every sunrise brings a new front line. Every choice becomes a declaration. Will I rise or will I retreat? Most never rise because they don't believe they can rewrite their identity. They think they're chained to their past, to the labels, the failures, the mistakes they keep rehearsing in their minds. But listen closely. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." He wasn't selling fantasy. He was explaining law, because your subconscious, that unseen soldier, obeys the orders you give it through repetition and emotion. If you speak defeat, it builds walls. If you speak faith, it builds wings. So ask yourself, what have you been commanding your mind to build? Every time you say, "I can't," you're training weakness. Every time you say, "I'll try," you're feeding doubt. But every time you say, "I will," and mean it, you are rewriting the code of your destiny. Because your identity is not fixed. It's forged like steel in the heat of your daily habits. Discipline is the fire. Faith is the hammer. Repetition is the rhythm. And the longer you stay in that fire, the more unbreakable you become. Edison didn't invent the light bulb because he was lucky. He became the kind of man who refused to give up. Ford didn't build an empire because he had money. He built it because he believed when no one else did. Disney was laughed out of studios, told he had no imagination, and yet he built a world of imagination itself. That's not talent. That's identity, chosen and reinforced until the world had no choice but to believe it too. And here's the truth most people avoid. Success isn't a mystery. It's math. What you think shapes what you believe. What you believe shapes what you do. What you do shapes who you become. But most people reverse it. They wait to become successful before they start thinking like it. They wait to feel confident before they act with confidence. They wait to have results before they give effort worthy of them. That's why they lose. Because your higher self doesn't appear after the work. It appears through the work. You want wealth? Start speaking like someone who respects money. You want love? Start treating yourself like someone worthy of it. You want success? Start living today as if your dream is inevitable. Not optional. That's the shift. That's the battle strategy Hill was teaching all along. Every great transformation begins with self-command. Say to yourself, "I am the architect of my mind. I decide what grows here." Repeat it until your doubt grows quiet, until your fear starts to obey. Every negative thought is an enemy soldier trying to cross the border of your belief. And every positive affirmation, backed with emotion, is a warrior defending the gates of your destiny. This is not spiritual fluff. It's psychological warfare. Hill wrote about it in Outwitting the Devil. He said that the greatest victory you can win is over drifting, that mental laziness that keeps you hypnotized by fear and comfort. The devil, he said, doesn't destroy you, he distracts you. He keeps you busy enough to never look in the mirror, to never ask, "Is this who I was meant to be?" And that's how most people die, not in body, but in spirit. But not you, not anymore, because the moment you see the war, you can choose which side you're fighting for. Every thought is a choice. Every word is a weapon. Every habit is a soldier marching for or against your future. So train them. Speak to yourself as a general speaks to his army, with conviction, not hesitation. Command yourself to rise, to act, to move. And when that weaker voice tries to pull you back, smile, because it means you're advancing. It means you're close. Your resistance is proof of your progress. So fight, not with anger, but with purpose. Every day you win a small victory over yourself, you rewrite who you are becoming. And one day you'll look in the mirror and see it, the warrior who never quit, the builder who never stopped, the dreamer who became the dream. You are both the sculptor and the stone, the fire and the gold, the question and the answer. And the war between who you are and who you could be, that's not punishment. That's potential calling you home. So rise again tomorrow. Speak life into your purpose. Command your fear to serve your faith. And remember, the battle was never outside you. It was always within. And you were born to win it. There will come a day when the war inside you grows quiet, when the voice of doubt loses its grip, and the voice of truth, your truth, begins to rise. That's the moment Napoleon Hill wrote about. The moment when faith becomes power. When your thoughts, words, and emotions align like a beam of focused light. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you finally understand you are not fighting against yourself. You are fighting for the part of you that still believes it's possible. Because potential doesn't die. It waits. It watches. It whispers through every failure, every sleepless night, every dream you've buried. It's asking one question: will you become me? The truth is, most people never meet their higher self because they surrender too early. They let the world convince them that comfort is safety, that mediocrity is peace. But you were built for more. The fire in you is not a mistake. It's your reminder. It's life demanding you rise beyond what you've been. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, faith over fear, growth over gossip, you feed that fire. You stop being a spectator of your destiny and become its architect. You stop asking, when will I become successful? And start declaring, I am success in motion. Because success isn't something you chase. It's something you embody. It's the reflection of who you've decided to become, repeatedly, relentlessly, faithfully. Edison failed 1,000 times before the light stayed on. Lincoln lost more elections than he won before the world remembered his name. Carnegie started as a poor immigrant before he built an empire of steel. Each of them fought the same war you're fighting now, the war between who they were and who they could be. They didn't win because life made it easy. They won because they refused to lose within. And you must do the same. Your greatness isn't waiting for permission. It's waiting for consistency. For the day you say, I will no longer negotiate with my potential, that's when everything shifts. That's when your outer world bends to match your inner command. Because the mind, once convinced, refuses to accept limitations again. So hear me now. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. This war you feel, this tension, it's proof that something extraordinary is being born inside you. And like all great creations, it demands pressure. It demands pain. It demands your absolute surrender to growth. But when you finally surrender, when you stop running from your potential and start running toward it, the storm inside you will turn into strength. The chaos will turn into clarity. And you'll realize it was never about reaching perfection. It was about remembering your power. So rise, one more time. Speak life over your dreams. Forgive your past. Discipline your mind. And walk toward the man or woman you were meant to become. Because the war between who you are and who you could be ends the day you decide to stop fighting your greatness and start living it. You were never at war with the world. You were at war with your limits. And now you've won. Speak life over your dreams. Forgive your past. Discipline your mind. And walk toward the man or woman you were meant to become. Because the war between who you are and who you could be ends the day you decide to stop fighting your greatness and start living it. You were never at war with the world. You were at war with the world. You were at war with your limits. And now you've won.